Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Motivation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I pray that you all had a blessed weekend. Today, we want to talk about our attitude. We want to talk about our attitude and how it affects our altitude. So, I wanted to start with this. In our lives, we're all going to face haters. We're going to be in bad situations where people, they just kind of come against us. Our naysayers are people who, are not in favor of us having success. And so they're going to tell us that we're not good enough or we can't achieve our goals. And what I want to tell you is this is there's a difference between us moving forward and us moving backwards when faced with these situations. When we come in with a pessimistic attitude or we listen to these naysayers, they can often bring us down and often keep us stuck and often keep us in a place where we are thinking of ourselves that we're not good enough and that we can't succeed and that we can not have success and that we're never going to amount to anything. And this can come from, surprisingly enough, it can come from our friends, it can come from even our family members, our coworkers. And what I want to tell you is this is that it's not about what other people say to you. It's about what God says to you. It's about what you say to yourself. It's about having that self-talk and that confidence in yourself. Let me share a story with you that I heard this past weekend that there was a student who was failing and he was failing in high school, and then all of a sudden it was his junior year. He was about to go into his senior year, and his mom wanted him to take the SATs. And you may have heard this story before. And his mom wanted him to take the SATs. And so he took the SATs. And what ended up happening is he scored very high on the SATs. He ended up scoring something almost a 1500 out of 1600 on his SATs. And so with this score, it kind of changed his mindset. And what it did for him is he said, you know what, going into my senior year, I'm going to try a little bit more. I'm going to give it more effort. I'm going to study harder. I'm going to make the most out of this senior year. And so what it did was it changed a few things in him. It changed his mindset. It changed the way his work ethic. It changed the people that he was surrounded by. Now he was around like-minded people who were about studying and getting good grades and focusing on their futures. And so ultimately what happened was he went on to go to college, and then he got his master's degree and he became very successful in business. And a few years later, he received a letter from the SAT folks. He received a letter, and what they said was this is that periodically they go back in time and look at scores. And what they found is this particular year that they sent 13 people the wrong scores, and he was one of those people. And they said, instead of getting almost a 1500, you only got a 600 on your SATs. Well, you know for him, he could have dealt with it in two fashions. He could have said to himself, you know what, I'm just going to I guess I'm not smart. I guess what everybody was saying about me is true, and that I don't have the aptitude, I don't have a future. And he could have just went back into a place of despair and misery and sunken back into his old ways of being unsuccessful. But no, instead what he said is, you know what, it wasn't necessarily about the score. Yes, the score helped my mindset. It helped me think in a positive fashion, but it was all about my attitude. My attitude is what made a difference in my life. And so he moved forward with a sense of you know what, it's about my attitude. And so what I want to share with you today is it's all about your attitude. Your attitude is going to affect your altitude, how you think of yourself. Others, like I said earlier, are going to have this they're going to have thoughts about, you can't succeed, or, this is something I experienced many times before in the military. Is what happened was, say, for example, you excel in basketball and you play on the at the you play at the, we'll say, at the squadron level. You play at a lower level, the company level, for for your particular sport, basketball or baseball or whatever it is, and you're trying to get to the base level, you're trying to get to the Air Force or the Marine Corps level to play on those teams. And so you ask your friends, you might ask your coworkers, your supervisor, how do I get to that level? And you know what you may get is this. You may get someone telling you, you know what, you can't get to that level. It's too hard. I played basketball myself, or I played baseball, and I wasn't able to get to that level. And so what people are doing is they're projecting their failures from themselves onto you because they could not get to that level of success. They are now saying that you can't as well. And so it's very crucial in our lives, in our growth, that we push off those naysayers because they're always going to be there. They're trying to drag you down. It's like that saying, misery loves company. I think of some scenarios where it's like crabs in a bucket. And if you're familiar with that phrase, what it is that basically when you put crabs into a large bucket, they're all going to try to get out. They're climbing all over each other. But what happens is none of them actually get out because as they're trying to get out, the others are pulling them back down. And so these are the toxic environments, the toxic relationships that you need to get out from under, because what they're going to do, they're always going to have you stuck or hindered or not going in the direction that God has for your life. And so what I want to encourage you to do is that know that you are more than a conqueror and that you belong to God, and that you walk forward in boldness and confidence and knowing that you can be successful and that you act like it. Because what happens is this is when you begin to act like you belong, and when you act like you should be there in these situations, and you act like you deserve it, and you act like you have success, you will begin to feel it. You'll begin to have success. You'll begin to move in a positive direction. You'll begin to go higher. But when you think that you are not good enough, or that you can't have success, or that you're not worthy, then that's when you will see that however you think, that's how you're going to be. So what I encourage you to do is this is that move forward with a positive mindset. And when you have questions, when you have concerns, when you need direction, go to God first. Ask God what he thinks about the situation. Talk to God about what your cares are, what your worries are, what your dreams are. Talk to God about these things. Too often we go to people and we ask for their advice. And these are the same people, the same naysayers, the same people that have been with us throughout our entire lives that are telling us the same negative things that we cannot achieve. We cannot get to where we are trying to go. I'll share a short story with you. When I was in the military, I got to a certain point in my career where I switched jobs. And there were two people that I remember said this very clearly. One person told me this: I'm coming into a new career field. And they said, hey, don't expect to win any awards like you've won in your previous career field, because this career field is different and we do things different. So don't expect to win any awards. And I was like, okay. And then a little while later, someone else, yeah, a supervisor, told me this. They said, don't expect to win any awards or receive any recognition. Yes, last year we won this office award, but it was because of me. It was because of our boss. And so moving forward, because now I'm leaving and our boss is leaving, don't expect to have that level of success. Again, you and the new supervisor, you all just try to stay afloat and just maintain. And those thoughts stuck in my mind as I moved forward. And I didn't allow them to hold me captive. I didn't allow those thoughts to keep me down. And so what I did was it motivated me. It motivated me and energized me to do better, to strive, to work harder. And the end result was our office ended up winning awards. And for myself, I ended up winning the largest awards on base. And again and again and time again, and through the rest of my career in this career field, I just God blessed me with winning awards at different levels and even at the highest level. And so, if I would have allowed these two individuals to just what they said, their negative words, just to sink into me, you know what? I wouldn't have had the level of success that I had in my military career. And it was all about overcoming these naysayers, overcoming these negative thoughts. So that's what I want to encourage you is don't let others' thoughts dictate who you are, but instead know that God has a plan for your life. Know that when you want feedback, go to God. Go to God for help. Go to God when you have concerns. Go to God for all things. Listen to what God says about you. What is God saying about you? What is God calling you to do? What path does God have for your life? What doors is God opening for you? When God opens those doors, you've communicated with him along the way. You know the door is open, why the door is open, and you know to walk forward boldly, confidently, knowing that God has your back. When you adjust your attitude, it will affect your altitude. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I pray that you all are having a blessed day. And don't forget to share, like. I love your comments. I appreciate them so much. I pray that you all have a blessed week. Take care. Talk to you soon, and God bless.